here are 10 more classics for your consideration. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for another top 10 video games that deserve a reboot.
You must be the Hopkins boy.
Where'd you come from?
We've been expecting you.
With over 350 games suggested by you Mojoholics, it's clear that not everyone's pick is going to make this list. And because of this, we decided to exclude games that already appeared on our top 10 most wanted HD remakes list, such as F-Zero. Also, since this is our second list on this topic, if your favorite wasn't on here, be sure to check out our previous list to see if it made it there. Number 10, Advanced Wars. Western players did not get a taste of Nintendo's Wars series until the Game Boy Advance, yet it quickly garnered a huge following and was one of the best games on the system. Still, few gamers have experienced the surprisingly in-depth turn-based gameplay or the excellent multiplayer map function. Even though there's mounds of replayability, there was comparably little lore to get your teeth stuck into, bar a few recurring elements like the Orange Star Nation and the selection of commanding officers. Furthermore, the turn-based strategy genre has seen a new age of revival as of late thanks to the likes of XCOM's own Reboot and Nintendo's other RTS series, Fire Emblem, so this seems like a no-brainer. Number 9, Force Gemini. Another one of those gems off of Rare's production line, this sci-fi third-person shooter sadly never got a sequel. Perhaps as a result of selling only 1 million copies, a relatively small figure for the developers of the mammoth N64 successes like GoldenEye 007 and Banjo-Kazooie. Even by today's standards, its overworld seems enormous, and after your epic bug-blasting adventure is over, you'll be sad to leave Juno, Vela, Lupus, and the adorable Tribal behind. There's still plenty of interest in the IP, however. It was part of Rare's Replay collection, and Microsoft still holds an active trademark, meaning an explosive return for our spacefaring trio might not be too far-fetched to dream. Number 8, Earthworm Jim. This groovy worm might have drifted out of popularity since the turn of the century, yet the series' trademark surrealist humor remains an asset ready for interpretation. Rumors about a fourth Jim title have swirled since 2008, and while Gameloft did grace us with a fantastic HD remaster of the original game in 2010, we still haven't seen anything original since Jim's 3D disaster. If Gameloft can pull off a remaster, imagine what could be done with a bit more creative freedom. That's not to say the series works only as a platformer, however. As the animated show demonstrates, this mighty fine fellow possesses as much flexibility as you would expect.
Earthworm Jim, he's such a groovy guy. Earthworm Jim, he rockets through the sky.
Number 7, Bully.
Here you go.
Oh, Jimmy, thank you. You're wonderful.
Many say that this open-world title from Rockstar is just GTA in school. A fair enough criticism. Bully features a typical rise-to-power plot and plenty of violence, yet the Bulworth Academy setting is so distinct that it's a tragedy it never received a sequel. School life produces such a steady stream of relatable narratives and interesting mechanics that it's unusual how few games have exploited such a common experience.
Yeah, sure.
Minor gameplay elements are one area where a Bully reboot could certainly improve. Its minigames were pretty repetitive. Yet, with Dan Houser still interested in the game's compelling teenage tales, we might finally get those tweaks after more than a decade of school.
You've done a lot of naughty things, haven't you? Vandalism, graffiti, bad language, violent conduct, disrespecting staff. Oh, I'm scared of you, Hopkins.
Number 6, Dino Crisis.
The brass is still warm. These guards were shooting at something very recently.
You'd think you just need one simple equation to sell this series. Survival horror plus dinosaurs equals profit, right? In the franchise's early life, that equation was working out perfectly. Yet, similarly to the Resident Evil series that the first game is often compared to, Capcom veered the franchise towards an action orientation, much to its detriment. Dino Crisis 3's notoriously terrible camera killed the series. But now with VR storming into the mainstream, the prospect of being stalked by Jurassic tormentors has never been so terrifying. Number 5, Jak Daxter. It wasn't through a lack of effort from Naughty Dog that this popular platformer series went relatively dormant in the 2010s, as various circumstances conspired to prevent them from taking their concept any further.
You sure know how to shoot.
The move to the PS3 and Naughty Dog's focus on mature games held the proposed reboot back, denying the fanbase a game that would likely be polarizing.
I told you we shouldn't have come here, and you listened! What?
Keeping everyone happy will be the challenge of any new Jak game. It'll have to be faithful yet fresh, with a story that is as memorable as the previously established lore.
There's only one person who has studied Dark Eco long enough to have a chance at returning you to your previous form.
It can be done. The Ratchet & Clank reboot has reinvigorated that series. It just needs a careful hand, or a paw, if you get my meaning.
Forget it, buddy. Jak would never...
Done. What? Don't worry.
Number 4, Burnout. As breathtakingly large as open-world racing games like The Crew undeniably are, they're often lacking in the thrills and exhilaration department. Even if you're more inclined about a serious racing experience, you can't deny Burnout's status as a genre leader in competitive carnage. The series' earlier entries, particularly Takedown, were a must-have on the 6th generation of consoles, as the now legendary Crash modes also transformed it into an all-out vehicular combat title. Smashing your friends into oncoming traffic at 150 miles per hour is one of the best multiplayer experiences you can have. Let's hope that Three Fields Entertainment's long-touted spiritual successor gets us where we need to go. Number 3, Spyro the Dragon. Before Skylanders turned the fearsome little purple dragon into a barely recognizable frog-like abomination, Spyro was challenging Super Mario 64 as the best 3D platformer available.
Spyro, thanks for helping us fight off the lizards. Please take this talisman of glimmer as a sign of our gratitude.
Even though the series' quality deteriorated when Insomniac Games shifted their focus to Ratchet & Clank, fans have never given up hope of returning to the innocent essence of that trio of original games. They didn't innovate considerably in terms of gameplay, but instead added new characters like Hunter the Cheetah and Bianca to further develop Spyro's story. For gamers of a certain era, the adorable dragon was there as you grew up. So it's time to show this generation what a real Spyro title looks like.
How sad. Look here, Dragon. If you know what's good for you, you'll turn around and crawl back up that hole you came through.
Number 2, Time Splitters. It might not have been a big seller, but this GoldenEye-inspired FPS stuck long in the memory for those lucky enough to pick it up. The cartoonish style and wacky sense of humor is so fondly remembered by one hearty group of fans that they've spent nearly 4 years developing their own version of the original game. The time-traveling elements of this franchise afford a reboot an unlimited degree of freedom, meaning it could be entirely possible to play as a gingerbread man in Victorian England. It's not all gimmicks and giggles, however. Features like a map editor and multiplayer AI added the kind of depth that even the most hardcore shooter can definitely respect. Before we reveal our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Number 1, Crash Bandicoot. We are getting a remaster of the first 3 games, Crash is appearing in the upcoming Skylanders title, and he's even had a cameo in Uncharted 4.
Gun to the camera. Got it.
And the circle button is your spin attack.
Spin attack.
Surely the way is paved for a whole new platformer featuring our favorite marsupial, right? While Skylanders is not the platform fans were hoping any original story would come on, Crash's HD design looks promising, and developers Vicarious Visions have said they're working hard to recreate the way that he moves and behaves. Anyone given the responsibility of bringing Sony's spinning mascot back should follow Naughty Dog's lead. Their 4 games account for nearly half of the 50 million units that the series sold. If they could bring it back successfully, we'd all be in for a whumping good time. Do you agree with our list?
Don't be afraid.
Afraid?
What?
Which series do you think should be reimagined from the ground up? For more gaming top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.